In the center of Sedona, there are a lot of shops selling everything from outdoor gear to Native American art. Finally, we noticed a curious-looking shop tucked away in a dark alley in the oldest part of the city. The doormat had a picture of a scorpion that looked so real I jumped back with a loud squeak. Then I rang the bell and heard the loud howl of a coyote. At the counter, I heard the sound of a rattlesnake. I shrieked again, terrified, and Trap chuckled. Nice howl, cuz. Trap took notes on the store's clever pranks. Once I stopped shivering from fright, I showed Grandfather's hat to the shopkeeper. The young rodent shook his head. We haven't made that style of hat in years, he said. I'm sorry. My whiskers drooped with disappointment. Well, do you know the Red Bandit? I asked. He shook his head again. Sorry, never heard of him. Now my ears drooped with disappointment. I was headed for the exit when I heard a loud voice from the rear of the shop. Hey you, did you say Red Bandit? I gazed into the shadows and saw a big gray rodent with a thick mustache. He wore a hat that looked a bit like my grandfather's. He got up off his chair and walked towards me. My name's Tom. Tom Rathhide, he said, shaking my paw vigorously. Just hearing the Red Bandit's name reminds me of old times, riding across the desert with him and my friend William Shortpaws. William Shortpaws is my grandfather, I exclaimed in surprise. He sent me all the way here to buy him a new hat. Tom ripped the hat off my head and looked at the label. He said, stroking his mustache. I remember this style. We sold the deluxe silver cactus at least 30 years ago. He began to rummage through an old trunk. They don't make hats like that anymore, he said. Then he grinned. Aha! Found it. He held up a hat that looked exactly like the same as my grandfather's. It had the same silver cactus charm dangling from the band. Only the falcon feather and red bandana were missing. I hoped that the Red Bandit could give me those, if I could ever find him. Tom tucked the hat into a hat box. I tried to pay him, but he refused. Take it to your grandfather William as a token of our old undying friendship, he said. As for the Red Bandit, start your search at Cathedral Rock. That's where I saw him last. Then he looked me up and down. He handed me a card with the words Wild Rat Adventures on it. Better talk to these rodents. You're going to need some help out there in the desert. I thanked him and left the shop, eager to continue. I was one step closer to the Red Bandit. When I left the shop, I found Trap yawning on a park bench. "'Cause while you check out that adventure place, I'll stay here and meditate on the situation," he said. "And don't forget to take the enormous jar. I wouldn't want anyone to take it while I'm fast asleep. While I'm meditating." Trap spread out and was snoring in 3 seconds flat. I tried to shake him awake, but my cell phone rang. It was my sister, Thea. I asked her to join me in Arizona. She's a great rodent to have around when you're in a jam. "Sorry," she replied. "You'll have to do the best you can without me. I'm working on a pretty strange news story and I can't get away." "I understand," I said with a sigh. "Oh, I almost forgot," she added. "Grandfather Shortpaws says to hurry up and find the Red Bandit, and don't you dare break that enormous jar." I glared at the annoying jar. "I'll do my best." With another sigh, I strapped the enormous jar onto my back and headed to Wild Rat Adventures. When I stepped inside the office, an athletic-looking mouse with a long black braid approached me. She looked me up and down just like Tom Rathhide had. I sucked in my belly. I haven't gone to the gym lately, but I have made many trips to the refrigerator. I knew she had me pegged, a city mouse with pitiful muscles, wearing the wrong clothes for hiking and carrying an enormous jar of chocolate on my back. She unrolled a brochure that was 10 feet long. "Poppy Sprightly, at your service," she said. "Here at Wild Rat Adventures, we provide guided adventures of every type. What would you like to do? Extreme hang gliding? Extreme hiking? Extreme camping?" I clumsily tried to bow, but the enormous jar threw me off balance, and I fell flat on my face in front of her. "Pleased to meet you," I said. "My name is Stilton, Geronimo Stilton." She picked me up, chuckling. "I'm pleased to meet you, too. You look like a giant turtle." Holy cheese, I was extremely embarrassed. But I guess I did look like a giant turtle with that enormous jar on my back. She looked me over again. I'm not certain if you're the type of mouse who can handle our extreme tours. I'm sorry." I frowned. Poppy Sprightly was probably right, but I didn't know how else I would get to Cathedral Rock. "That's too bad," I said. "Tom Rathhide said you could help me." She smiled. "That changes everything," she exclaimed. "Normally I'd send a city mouse like you right out of here. You are not the type for extreme adventures, trust me. But if you insist, I'll see if I can find something that's not too extreme, Mr. Stilton." "The name is Stilton, Stilton, I corrected her. and I need you to take me to Cathedral Rock as soon as possible. I'm in a hurry." Her eyes got wide. "You to Cathedral Rock? Impossible." "But I must," I insisted. She shook her head. "Mr. Stilton, you won't be able to hack it. I know what I'm talking about." Now, if she had read any of my books, she might have known that I am no stranger to extreme adventures, but clearly she hadn't, so I had to convince her. "My name is Stilton with a T. T for tenacious," I said. Then I fell to my knees. "Please, it's an emergency. If I don't find the red bandit and get that falcon feather in my bandana, my grandfather will have my whiskers." "You should have told me that you were looking for a red falcon," she said, clearly confused. "You must be an ornithologist." "Probably a famous bird scientist. In that case, I can help you. In fact, I have the perfect guide for you." "No, I'm looking for the red bandit, and he might have a falcon feather," I tried to explain, but Poppy wasn't listening. She ran around the office, grabbing a map, a backpack, a rope, and a compass, and other emergency supplies. Then she grabbed me by the paw and dragged me out the door. "Hurry up," she urged. "Time flies, and the falcons won't wait for us." And that's how we began 5 extreme adventures.